Hi, hello, my name's Jodie and welcome to another video. So today we're going to be doing a book haul. Always loads of book hauls on my channel, no surprise there. So this is my end of year book haul, so the last book haul of 2020. A lot of books to get through. I have about 40 books. Technically, I'm going to talk through some comic books I picked up recently as well. So I have loads of single issue comic books to show you guys at the end of the video. So probably about 50 if you counted those individually, but I'm going to say 40 with actual books and stuff. So yes, a lot of books to get through. I have no excuse really. Some of these were in sale, a couple, one. And I had a few gifts from you guys. And then I just have accumulated some different books, some are pre-orders, things like that. So yeah, we have a lot to get through, but I know you guys like my book hauls, so we're here with another one. This does not include my books that I received for Christmas. That will be in a separate video, which will be coming fairly soon after this one. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jodie and I make bookish videos, usually twice a week. All different bookish good stuff, so if you're into any of that, then you can give me a subscribe if you like. Anyway, let's get into the video. I'm really excited and I have my nice cute Hocus Pocus book that Jamie got me for Christmas, which it's a little cauldron and it's just so cute. It comes with a little spoon as well. Grab yourself a nice hot cup of tea or a coffee or just any drink. Sit down somewhere comfy and get ready because this is going to be probably a bit of a long one. I'm going to keep my synopses. I'm going to keep my synopses brief for each book. Some of them I probably won't even give a synopsis for, just because I don't want this video to be too long, and like I said, there's a lot to get through. I don't even know where to start. I have it all in the trolley right in front of me and I'm overwhelmed because I don't know what to grab. The first book I have is actually really nice. I read an early copy of this and reviewed it a few months ago. Those of you who've subscribed to me, you probably heard me talk about this book way too many times because I absolutely adored it. My favourite middle grade I've read for a long time. And the author asked if she could send me a signed copy as a thank you, and of course I said yes. I mean, I already had the signed one pre-ordered anyway at work, but yeah, it was so nice and I received it actually today. So it's The Forest of Moon and Sword by Amy Raphael, and just look how, this is a finished copy, and just look how beautiful this book is. I'm obsessed. Look how stunning this is though. Like, you need this book in your life, trust me. It comes out this month actually, I believe. Yeah, she just wrote a little note inside, so it says, "To Jodie, thank you for tremendous support. Hope to meet you in 2021 from Amy." This is just so nice, and this is honestly like just set the tone for the year. It's just such a nice thing, and yeah, thank you so much Amy, because this made my day. I love your book so much and I'm just so happy to have a finished copy that's signed to me as well. It's just really nice and I adore this book. So yeah, if you haven't heard me talk about this a million times already, make sure you go and pre-order it or pick it up when it comes out because it's absolutely fantastic and you don't want to miss out on this. I'm going to stop ranting about it though because you're all probably sick to death of me talking about it. So next we have a super beautiful edition of a book that I really loved in 2020. One of my favourite books I read that year. I really love this series and I love this book anyway. It's the third edition that I own. I pre-ordered this with Fairy Loot a while ago and it finally arrived and I'm obsessed. So this is How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black, and this is the Fairy Loot exclusive edition. So it is stunning as always. It has beautiful gold sprayed edges. Hopefully the lighting isn't too bad, but you can just see how stunning this is. And then we have these gorgeous gold end papers, even like the metallic detail in here as well. It's just stunning. And then underneath we have this beautiful embossed book with the gold tree, and I'm just obsessed. Like, I love this so much. I have this edition, the Waterstones one, and the standard hardcover. So yes, 3 editions, but you all know I like to collect books, and of course I was going to pre-order Fairy Loot edition. So glad I have this because it is absolutely stunning. So next up is the third book in a series, and it's actually a series I haven't read yet but do plan to in 2021. But I had this pre-ordered anyway, so it finally came in. So that is The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. So this is the third book in the Poppy War series. Yeah, I'm not going to give a synopsis about it because obviously it is a book in a series and I haven't read the series. But yeah, I pre-ordered this and now I have all 3 books, so I'm really excited because it means I can binge this series at some point in 2021. And I really love this cover as well. I love this simplistic cover. I just think it's absolutely stunning and it really does make it stand out with the black and white and the orange, and yeah, I just so excited about this one. So next up we have 2 poetry books, which both of which I have read and enjoyed. One has food stuck on it, that was really gross. Anyway, one of these I loved more than the other, and I'll talk about that in a second. But these are both two poetry books that are illustrated by one of my all-time favourite illustrators, which is Chris Riddell. I absolutely adore his illustrations, and of course I just had to have these, and they're beautiful. I still need to get the other one, which is Poems to Save the World, I believe. I still need to pick that one up, but the ones that I do have are Poems to Live Your Life By, and then I also have Poems to Fall in Love With, and this one is signed. Basically these are kind of like a collection of different poems related to the subject, so these are kind of like romantic ones or to do with love, and then these ones are kind of like general ones selected by Chris Riddell as well. So I definitely enjoyed this one a lot more. I think I gave this 3 stars and this 4 stars. But yeah, the illustrations in both of these are absolutely stunning. Like, I love them so much. And then this one is obviously signed, which I'll just quickly show you guys. So yeah, I just really like both of these. They have stunning covers as well. I know the lighting's not great, but yeah, these covers are absolutely stunning. So I need to pick up the other one that he's done, but I just really like these. They're really nice to kind of collect. They have beautiful illustrations inside, and if you do like poetry or just want a nice illustrated book, then definitely look into these because they are stunning. Talking of stunning books, I have this beautiful one here. So this is by Nikita Gill, and this is Fierce Fairy Tales and Other Stories to Stir Your Soul, and I just really picked this up so randomly, but I'm so glad that I did. These are mostly feminist fairy tales, and I just think this is such a gorgeous book. Like, look how beautiful this cover is, like stunning. We love her. This is just like a collection. You've got some short stories in here like this. You've got some kind of poetry in here. You've got all different kinds of things in here, and I just think this is absolutely beautiful, and I am planning to pick this up fairly soon. May even add this to my January TBR just because it is absolutely beautiful, and I just think feminist fairy tales, why would you not want to read those? But yeah, I really am glad that I picked this up, and I just think it's stunning, and I love books like this. I just think they're so nice. I like anything that's like a collection of short stories or poems and things like that, especially with a really cool theme, like the feminist fairy tale theme. I just think it's really cool. If you have any recommendations for anything similar to this, then please do let me know. But I can't wait to read this. I just think I'm going to really enjoy it, and it is just a beautiful like book to have on my shelf. And while we're on the subject of books that have beautiful covers, may as well show you guys this one. So this is actually a proof, and it's one of the nicest proofs I've ever received, and this is The Last Bear by Hannah Gold, and yes, this is a proof. You heard me right, a hardback proof. I wish that was more of a thing. I understand why it isn't, but I wish that it was, because this is just stunning. I absolutely love this. I haven't gotten around to reading this yet, but it does have a Michael Morpurgo quote on the front. I can never say his name properly. It says, "The Last Bear is an important first novel, important for us, for polar bears, for the planet. It is deeply moving, beautifully told, quite unforgettable." I think this is going to be a really lovely story. I think it's going to have some really important messages in here as well. It comes out on the 18th of February in 2021. The finished copy of this is absolutely stunning as well. Like, it's so beautiful. But I'm really excited to read this because I just think it's going to be a lovely story. So the next book I am so excited about, and I just adore it, and I have a really funny story about this book. So me and Danny and both of our boyfriends were in the bookstore together, and we were just having like a nose round and like looking, and at the same time me and Danny like facing away from each other in 2 different parts of like the shop, and we were both like, oh my god, look at this book that I found. And then we both turned around and we had the exact same book in our hand. We'd both randomly just found in the wrong place, and it was just so weird and so funny, because what were the chances of us finding the only 2 copies in the whole store in the wrong place at the exact same time, and both knowing that each of us would love it. It was just a really funny moment, and yeah, it kind of sums up our friendship, because I swear, like, we just think the exact same, like we are the same person. It's crazy. But anyway, I'm so excited about this, and we are going to eventually buddy read this together, and I just cannot wait for that. And the book is My Neighbor Totoro, so I can never say that right, I'm so sorry, but you know exactly what I mean by the cover. So this is based off the Studio Ghibli movie, or Ghibli, however you want to pronounce it. And yeah, it's just, look how cute this is. Like, it is so cute. It's almost like kind of like that I don't know, it's like that organza kind of feel to it, like textured, but this is just so cute. It's so small, like I'm obsessed. And this is literally just like the original story as well, and it has like beautiful little illustrations inside, and like it is just literally like, it is so stunning and so cute, and I can't wait to read this. So yeah, I love this, and it has like a really nice memory attached to it now as well, and I just think this is adorable, and I wish you could get like this little cute edition for every single Studio Ghibli story, but yeah, I'm just obsessed with this and I absolutely adore it, and I just think it's so cute. The next up we have a Parachute by Kelly Yang. So this one is a really random pick. I just found this in the bookstore and it sounded so good that I just had to get it. So they get called parachutes because they are teenagers who get dropped off in America and they stay in these like fancy private homes while their wealthy parents remain in Asia. And in this we follow Claire. Now Claire is living a really nice life in Shanghai. She is very privileged, and suddenly her parents up and move her and ship her off to the United States to become an international student. So she gets enrolled at this high school in California and she ends up living in a stranger's house, and it's the first time she's in a situation where there's nobody telling her what to do. She's kind of got a sense of freedom here, and obviously everything's totally new to her in this place as well. And she gets asked out by a fellow parachute named Jay, so she certainly takes advantage of these newfound freedoms that she has. And then we have Danny, who is the sister. So it's her mum who's rented out a room to Claire in their house. She's less than impressed about this. She's not happy one bit. And Danny is an academic. She's on a debate team at school. She's determined to get into Yale. She's going to let nothing and no one get in her way from her getting to that school, and this means even competing with privileged kids who are used to buying their way to the top. Both Danny and Claire do everything they can to possibly ignore each other and just live two separate lives under the same roof, and then they kind of end up on a collision course where they're going to end up crossing paths and basically be intertwined in some way. So it does say this is an unforgettable modern immigrant story about love, trauma, family corruption and the power of speaking out. So this just sounds absolutely amazing. It sounds like a really good contemporary novel. I haven't really heard many people talk about this either. If you have read this yourself, please do let me know your thoughts because I'd be very intrigued to know. But I just think this sounds absolutely amazing. I really can't wait to read this. I think it's going to be really interesting. I think it's going to touch on some really important themes as well, and I'm just very excited about it. And I also just love this cover. I just think it's so nice. I love this kind of art style as well. Very excited to give this one a read. Then next we have Fairyloot's Book of the Month for December, I believe this was, and this is Master of One by Jada Jones and Danny Bennett, and this has stunning red sprayed edges and it is just a gorgeous metallic-y cover. So I did already talk about this in my Fairyloot unboxing, or maybe that hasn't gone up yet. I don't think that video will have gone up just yet, but it is coming up. You can watch it there and I talk about the whole synopsis there. This kind of has fae relics in here. It's kind of like a heist kind of vibe, kind of reminds me a bit of Six of Crows, and there's a cool lizard creature thing in this book, which yes, like we'd read this just for that alone. But yeah, this just sounds really good. It's got like a heist kind of vibe to it. It's got a lot of different characters interacting, fae stuff, magic, all different kinds of cool things. I think this will be a really fun one, and I just love this metallic-y cover and these sprayed edges, like stunning. Oh my god, I need a tea break from talking so much. So next up we have another book that is the final book in a series, and this is yet again another series I have not read but certainly do plan to soon. I do have, I think, all of the books, and I also have the Fairyloot exclusive editions of this series pre-ordered as well. But I had this one pre-ordered, totally forgot I'd pre-ordered it, and this is a signed edition and an exclusive edition. So this is A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabar Tahir, and this is the one with the pink sprayed edges. So this one is the Waterstones edition. It is signed. And it is a beautiful book, and it has this really cool map inside. We love a book that has a map. I mean, I don't know why, because I never ever use them or really properly look at them, especially when I'm reading the book, but I just like them. Like, I don't know, I like to know they're there even though I never use them. Does anyone else ever use the maps in books or not? I don't. I like them being there, I just don't use them. So next up is a book that I'm very excited to read, and I'm so glad that I managed to get my hands on. I really do want the Owl Crate exclusive edition of this. It really isn't that much different. I think it just has like a different dust jacket thing or something. So if anyone is selling their copy, let your girl know because I'd love it. I really want one. Although I know I can get this on eBay, but I really begrudge buying them on eBay because they're usually people who deliberately buy the boxes just to sell them for more money, and I don't want to line their pockets. Yeah, you know what I mean? But I also don't want to pay a ridiculous amount of money for a book like that isn't like a collectible thing for me. It's just one that I kind of like. But anyway, that is besides the point. I have the standard copy in my hands and I can read that and I'm happy. That is Horrid by Katrina Lennon. This was a I'll Create Book of the Month a while ago. Wasn't really into it at the time, and since I've actually read some reviews for this and I was like, I'm intrigued by that book now. I actually really want it, and it took me a while to get my hands on it, but I finally managed to order it into work. And yeah, I love this cover. I'm absolutely obsessed with this cover. It looks so creepy and I'm just here for it. It's a vibe. But it says on the back here, Jane's fingers were numb. Was she ready to admit now that she believed in? The word was still so hard to say. It was silly and childish. It was white sheets with eye holes cut out and grainy pictures of disembodied heads and bumps in the night when you're home alone, all tucked in bed and frozen with fear. Ghost. Yeah, that bit just had me. But this just sounds so spooky, and I love the spooky vibes. I wish it was still Halloween so I could read this. Appreciate the spooky vibes more. But this follows Jane, and Jane is currently dealing with a lot of grief after her father has recently passed away, and her and her mother moved from sunny California to the dreary town of Maine. And this is actually a town where her mother Ruth actually grew up, and they move to a place called North Manor, hoping for a fresh start, but instead get something far more sinister. So within this place it seems to lurk a very dark history, and Jane is then the recipient of a lot of bullying from a bad person or a bad seed in the town, and this kind of brings out her bad side as well. And she goes from being lost in books and starting to get over things, cope with her grief and settle into a new town, making new friends, to kind of becoming a bit of a darker version of herself. And her mother is having a really hard time being back in her childhood home, and it's kind of sending her out of control, and she just won't say why. And then Jane finds this storage room in the house, and this isn't actually a storage room that is always locked. It is instead a little girl's bedroom, and this room is not as empty as it seems. There's definitely an inhabitant in there, and that's all the synopsis kind of says. So sounds so creepy, and sounds like there's going to be a lot of cool dynamics in this book. And the creepy vibes, it's set in like New England when it's like autumn, and you know, I can just imagine like all the fog and like cold nights and it being really eerie and like atmospheric. So this just sounds amazing. I cannot wait to read this book. I hope it is very creepy, and I'm just obsessed with this cover. I think it's stunning, and I can't wait to sit down and read this on a cold night. Next up we have a really random buy. I actually bought this in TK Maxx. I just saw it at the till and I was like, that looks interesting, and I picked it up, and I don't really know much about it. I'm pretty sure it's inspired by Edgar Allan Poe. I just was attracted to the cover, and I guess you guys will see why. But this is called The Raven's Tale, and this is by Kat Winters. And just look at this cover. This cover, I would have just bought it for the aesthetic alone because obsessed with this. Like, this is just such a cool cover. Never ever heard of this in my entire life, but it was £5, so I thought, why not? It says, once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, 17-year-old Edgar Poe is on the brink of escaping from under the thumb of his foster family, the wealthy Allens. Once he's out of oppressive Richmond and away at college, things will change. He'll be free to pursue his art and leave the horrors of his past behind. Then, on the brink of his departure, a macabre muse named Lenore appears to him, tempting him to a life of dark poetry and gruesome tales. Eddie's foster father believes muses are dangerous creatures who lead artists down a path of ruin. No respectable person would answer their call, but Lenore steps out of the shadows with one request: let them see me. Will Eddie find the courage to answer her? That's all it says. So it doesn't really give you much of what it's about, and it's not my usual cup of tea, to be honest, and I don't know if I will actually enjoy this when I read it. Well, this is basically inspired by Edgar Allan Poe and his muse, and how that changed him and his art, I guess, and his work. And yeah, I think this has got like a historical element to it. It's got that kind of fantasy, imaginative-esque kind of vibe. I don't know, it just sounds quite fun, and I just love this cover. I had to buy it for the cover. So I have 2 Christmas books to show you guys, which I didn't get around to reading, but I will hopefully read next Christmas. So I have this one here, which was called Chill Tidings, Dark Tales of the Christmas Season, and this is a British Library edition. I just love this cover. I think it's so cool, and this is basically a bunch of really dark and creepy, spooky Christmas stories, and I love that. There's hardly anything that's like dark, horror-esque Christmassy stories. They're always like romancy ones, so I'm very excited to read this, even though it will be next Christmas when I read this. It is just a bunch of short stories basically. Then on Twitter I won a giveaway for this book, which is really exciting. I just didn't get around to reading it, unfortunately. But this is called All I Want for Christmas by Donna Ballory, and this is just a nice warm and fuzzy and cozy romantic contemporary style story, obviously Christmas themed. And yet this just sounds like a really nice kind of romantic story that also has an element of family and belonging, and I just think it sounds really, really cute. And yeah, it's just a nice Christmassy story. So again, it's one definitely for the end of next year, but one that I will hopefully get to at Christmas. So next I have 2 middle grades. So this first one I'm just gonna peel the sticker off and talk to you about. It's kind of like inspired by Alice in Wonderland, but it's also very Tim Burton-esque, which is the main reason that I bought it. I did very, very briefly start this book on the way home from work one day. I kind of forgot that I started it and haven't picked it up since, so I really need to read it. This is called Malice in Underland, and yeah, as you can see, very, very Tim Burton-esque illustrations. And this follows a girl named Malice, and her and her family basically are mischievous for a living. Like, that's how they get by. They cause mischief. And it says, and as Underland representatives, it is their responsibility to maintain respectable levels of gruesome amongst topsiders. Topsiders are people who like live in a normal world. But when Grandad ghosts mysteriously start disappearing, including her own beloved Grandad, Malice has no choice but to put aside her mischief and solve the case. So this just sounds so fun. I just absolutely adored the sound of it, and I had to get it. And because it says it's gloriously gothic, and it had that Tim Burton kind of vibe, and the whole like Alice in Underland, you know, Malice in Underland, I just, yeah. It sounds really, really cool, and I just had to get this, and I can't wait to actually pick it up again because I did start it and it's quite funny. And yeah, I just think this will be a really fun middle grade. Then next we have one that I was sent by publisher, which I'm very, very excited to get to. I can't remember when this comes out. Let's have a look. January 2021, so I need to go and move on and read this. So this is the Hatmakers by Thomson Merchant. So this is a proof edition, and this proof is absolutely beautiful. Very excited to give this a read and review it because it sounds absolutely amazing. And this follows Cordelia, and Cordelia comes from a long line of people who basically consume magic into hat. Using magical ingredients to create things is something that's very, very rare in her world, and it's a very, very ancient skill. But then Cordelia's father goes missing, and as a result of this, ancient rivalries resurface, and Cordelia begins to wonder if someone's using maker magic to try and start a war. And it says, enter a spellbinding world brimming with magic and wonder in this soaring adventure. And I just think this sounds so fun, and I'm obsessed with this proof. I think it's stunning, and I can't wait to read this. I think it's going to be a really, really fun read. I really love the magical element to this as well. So next up I have 2 mangas. I think I've spoken about these in a vlog before, and I honestly can't remember what they're about, so I'm literally going to show you them, and I can't even pronounce them. But it was the art style was the main reason I bought them, and I can't wait to read them. But I have volumes 1 and 2, and just look, like, oh, they're absolutely stunning, and the art inside as well is just amazing, and I can't wait to read both of these. So it says, when a young girl moves to the forgotten town of Bizinga, she uncovers a terrifying collection of lost souls that lead her onto the brink of insanity. One thing becomes painfully clear: the residents of Bizinga are just dying to come home. And this just sounds absolutely amazing. I'm very, very excited, and yeah, I'm obsessed with the art style. It's the only reason I bought them. Next I have this graphic novel. So this is a feminist tale, and I just think this sounds absolutely amazing. And this says it follows betrayal, loyalty, madness, bad husbands, lovers both faithful and unfaithful, wise old crones, moons who come out of the sky, musical instruments that won't stay quiet, friends and brothers and fathers and mothers and all above, many, many sisters. And this is called The 100 Nights of Hero by Isabel Greenberg. Obsessed with the art style. Look how cool the art is in this graphic novel. I just hit myself in the head. This is really big and really heavy. It's got a really, really unique and cool art style, and I just think this is going to be a really, really fun graphic novel, so that's why I got it. And this cover is absolutely stunning as well. Then next I was sent this by the publisher, and I just think this is really, really cool, so I want to show it. But this is the all new Britannica Children's Encyclopedia, What We Know and What We Don't. I love stuff like this because I'm not the best when it comes to factual things, and I find children's things or just simplified versions of things are really helpful. So obviously this is just a children's encyclopedia, so it literally just simplifies everything and just gives you a lot of information. And to be honest, it's very difficult to find an adult encyclopedia that isn't really overwhelming, and I just think this is absolutely stunning, and I love it so much, and I just think it's amazing, and I'm really happy that I have this. I just think it's really useful. And next we have a book that I just still can't believe I got for such a cheap price. This was literally £4.99. This is literally one of my all-time favourite films. I literally love this film. I love this superhero so much. This is the art of the film for the first Wonder Woman movie, which is literally one of my favourite films, and Patty Jenkins is one of my favourite directors. I think this is one of the most stunning, like, cinematic films ever. Like, it is just absolutely beautifully shot and everything about it is just amazing. So of course I had to get the art of the film for £4.99. Like, I was not going to say no, but it literally is just art of the film and talking about the director and how the film was shot and things like that. And I just think this is a really cool book to have in my collection, and I'm very happy that I got this for such a good price as well. So next we have another book that isn't the first or second book in the series, but it's the third, which seems to be a recurring theme here. I don't actually own the first or second book for this series either, but I'm dying to read it. But I really want them in hardcover because the hardcovers are just stunning. They're impossible to get. I only managed to get the third one from work. We can't get the first or second, and they're out of print, so I am trying to track them down online. But because this was available at the time, I obviously got it. That is The Winter Witch by Arden. So this is the third book in the series. Not going to go into what it's about because, like I said, part of a series, but I really do need to pick up the first and second book in hardcover because I really do want to read these. But just look how beautiful this hardcover is. Like, it is so stunning, and I can't wait to have the first two and have them all together. So if anyone knows where I can get them, please do let me know because I really do want to pick them up. So next I have these here. Oh my gosh, I just hit myself. These are some books that I was kindly gifted by you guys, and I have shown these in a vlog before, but I just thought I'd include them in the haul anyways. These are from Nikki and Nicole, so thank you both again for these beautiful gifts. But I have this Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, and this is the manga version of the film, which is just love it, absolutely love it. You all know I'm obsessed with Tim Burton and Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm so happy with this. I've read both of the picture book style and the Disney animated edition of this story, and I've also read the graphic novel one. I just haven't read the manga, so I'm very excited to have this and get around to reading the manga now because I've read every other format of this story that there is. Just look at it, it's so cute. We love the Bone Daddy. Then I also have The Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart, and this is an adult fantasy. This is about magic, revolution and mystery, and it just sounds absolutely amazing, and I've heard really good things about this, and I was very lucky to kindly receive this on one of you guys, so thank you so much. And then I have this beautiful hardcover of Hansel and Gretel, and this is the Neil Gaiman interpretation of this story. I just love the really dark art style inside. Love it. I love short stories like this. I recently read Neil Gaiman's The Sleeper and the Spindle, which is another one of his fairy tale twisted stories that I really enjoyed that. It was so good. So I'm hoping his interpretation of Hansel and Gretel is also really good and really dark, and I can't wait to get to this one. I just absolutely love this so much. And then I have a graphic novel, which is The Wicked and the Divine, and this is volume 2, so I have volume 1. Can't wait to read these. I'm gonna wait till I've got a few more volumes in the series and then hopefully binge my way through these. Very excited. I think these are going to be really good. Next we have a graphic novel adaptation of a book, and this is a book that I read so many years ago now, and I know I loved it at the time. Don't know how my feelings will be about it now, but we shall see when I read this. This is called Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, and this is the graphic novel edition that was adapted by Sam Maggs. It's Fangirl, it's nerdy, it includes fanfic, and yeah, it's really good contemporary from what I remember. I just can't remember exactly everything about it, and like I said, I don't know if my thoughts and feelings may have changed, but I'm very excited to read this. I am going to be reading this in January, I think, with Danny, so I can't wait to pick it up. Gonna be fun to revisit a book I haven't read for a long time. Next we have another Neil Gaiman graphic novel, and this was one I actually did receive for Christmas but kind of slipped through the net and ended up with this haul instead of the Christmas one, but we're going to talk about it anyway. So this is called Snowglass Apples, and this is basically a fantasy retelling of Snow White, I believe, and it is a very dark interpretation. Wait till you see some of the scenes in this book, guys. We love to see it. I love this kind of art style though. I love dark graphic novels like this. I absolutely adore this kind of really dark art style as well. Like, I just can't wait to read this. I'm so excited for this. I love these dark twisted retellings that Neil Gaiman does. They're always amazing, and I'm just very very excited about this. Next I have another manga. I'm just going to take my receipt out that I've left in there. This is called Komi or Komi Can't Communicate. This is the first volume and I don't know a lot about this. This is just a really cutesy kind of tale, I'm told. I picked this one up because I have heard really good things about this manga. As you guys will know, I've recently gotten into manga and this is apparently a really cute kind of romantic, nice kind of story, I believe. But this kind of follows a girl who has really bad crippling anxiety and she's very misunderstood for it, and I think then this guy kind of comes and helps her and decides to help her make loads of friends, and I think they maybe develop some kind of romance between them, unless I've mistook this for a different manga, I don't know. I also have these two that I received from Nicole as well, and these ones I'd never heard of before and they weren't on my wish list. She just kindly sent me them because she thought I'd really like them. I actually have the note that says, I thought you might enjoy this. It seems like we both share the same love for creepy dark art and spooky twisted stories, and these are just, when I open these, I was so happy. These are my kind of vibe. You're right, I absolutely obsessed. So we have this one here, which is Holiday Haunts, scary short stories of Halloween and Christmas, and yes please, like this is my vibe, this is my aesthetic, like love that. So it's like what it says on the cover, it is just loads of short stories to do with Halloween and Christmas. Very excited, very spooky. And then we also have this one here, which I just nearly dropped, which is called Ghastly Grim, a collection of dark art stories and poems, and this one is definitely my fave. It has so much cool art in it and stories, poetry, everything dark and spooky, and I cannot wait to delve into this. So thank you so much, Nicole, because I'm obsessed with both of these and I cannot wait to read both of them as well. Totally my kind of thing. So next up I have a Wonder Woman graphic novel, and this is Wonder Woman The Just War, and this just sounds so cool. So I can't wait to read this. I love Wonder Woman, she's my favourite DC character, she's probably my favourite superhero ever as well, and I just think this looks so good, and I loved Ares, like the whole story with Ares that Wonder Woman 1 was based off, so I think this will be really fun to read. So next up we have one that I've already read, and this is The Nightmare Before Christmas, the graphic novel. So it's literally the story but graphic novel format, and I really love this. I gave it 5 stars. I have nothing more to say about it. So as some of you might have seen from my Vampathon videos, I read one of the Anita Blake comics and I really loved it, and then I ended up getting this one as well, which is Anita Blake The Laughing Corpse Animator, and this isn't like a follow-on from that one, this is a totally different one, but I love the character and I love the art so much I went ahead and bought this one. Very excited for it because she's a badass. She's basically a vampire hunter and she's just really good at it. So yeah, I'm very excited to give this a read. Then we have The Wicked and Divine Volume 1. I should have showed this for Volume 2, but they were in a separate pile. And basically in this, every 90 years 12 gods return as young people, and it says they are loved, they are hated, in 2 years they are all dead. It's happening now, it's happening again. Just sounds so intriguing. Love the sound of this. I can't wait to binge this series when I have all the volumes. I really love this simplistic kind of covers as well. I've heard really good things about this too, so I'm very excited to read these. Then we have Neil Gaiman's Coraline, the graphic novel version. So I read Coraline in October, loved it, such a good book, and this is literally just a graphic novel. So I can't wait to read the graphic novel format for this because I love graphic novels, I love Coraline, it's so creepy, and I think this will be really fun to read it in this format too. So next up we have some DC Ink graphic novels. So I do have Beast Boy as well, but I don't know where I've put it. It's somewhere in my room because I'm going to be reading it in January. But I did also get that, but it's just not in the actual haul. But I also have these two. I have Gotham High by Melissa de la Cruz. This follows 17-year-old Bruce Wayne when he returns to Gotham City. It's got Selena, who's Catwoman obviously. It's basically like a young version of Batman, and I just think it's gonna be so fun to read, and I love this cover too, and I really enjoy the DC Ink graphic novels. And then I also have this Wonder Woman one, which is called Wonder Woman Tempest Tossed, and this is by Leila Del Duca, I think is how you pronounce her name, or it's illustrated by her, and it's written by Laurie Halls Anderson. I love Wonder Woman, as I've said already in this video, and I just can't wait to read this. I've read the Wonder Woman Warbringer DC Ink comic, so very excited to read this one. Didn't really know it existed until recently, so I'm very glad that I've picked it up, and it looks stunning inside. I love the blue aesthetic in here, so I'm very excited to read both of these and Beast Boy as well. Beast Boy is just one of the Teen Titans. Very excited to read that one. But yes, I have those DC Ink ones that I got. Here's the Beast Boy graphic novel. it was sitting there the whole time, just in a different pile. Then we have Tokyo Ghoul Vol 1. So I recently binged the anime, obsessed. I still have a few more episodes left to watch, but I absolutely adore the anime. It's so fun. I really wanted to pick up the manga and I'm glad that I did. I can't wait to read all of these and I'm very, very excited to get to this soon, and I will hopefully be reading it in January. But yeah, just everyone kind of knows what Tokyo Ghoul is, I'm pretty sure. It's got ghouls in here and it's just really, really cool. If you haven't read this or watched it, do it. So that concludes all the books and stuff, but I just quickly show you through some of the single issue comics I have. So I'm literally just going to go through very, very quick. So we have Wonder Woman 1984 with this really cool retro cover. We have Wonder Woman 84 Museum Mayhem, which is basically based off the museum scene from the movie. We have Something is Killing the Children, which I really want to pick up the trade paperback of because this is a really creepy thriller, mystery, dark, horror kind of esque comic, and I've heard really, really good things about it and it looks really cool. I have this horror comic called The Autumnal, and I just bought this simply because I'm obsessed with the artwork and it looks amazing, but I hope I enjoy it. And then I have two Monstrous comics here, which are both of these two. I'm going to be rereading Monstrous Volume 1 soon and binging the rest of the series. Very, very excited, and I just thought I'd pick up the single issues as well. Then I originally did want all of the Mercy comics, but I haven't been able to get my hands on all of them yet. I have volumes 4 to 6, so I still need to get the first 3 obviously, but I can't wait to read this. I have the trade paperback ordered, but these are just some of these single issues with the really cool covers, but I've heard really good things about this. I'm very, very excited to read this when I get the whole collection together, so I really do need to get my hands on the other issues, but I'm very, very happy that I have these ones. And then lastly I got these Buffy the Vampire Slayer Willow comics. So I have issues 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and I'm obsessed with the artwork. Like, look how stunning these are. They're so beautiful. Oh, I love them so much. I can't wait to read these because they look amazing. And again, I've heard really, really good things about these, and it's related to Buffy, so why would it not be amazing? But that concludes all the books for this haul. I hope it wasn't too long. It probably is very, very long, and I hope you guys maybe found some new cool books through this video somehow. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Lots of good books and graphic novels and manga to read. I will have them all linked in the description box below, and I'm just very, very excited to read all these, but panicking because I have no idea where they're going to go on my bookshelves. There's just no room for them anymore, so they're probably going to have to sit in my TBR trolley until I can find somewhere to put them. If you've read any of these, please do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you did enjoy this video, and subscribe if you'd like to. I upload twice a week most of the time, and I will be doing some live shows pretty soon as well. So yeah, I really do hope that you did enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!